Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Adult Student Orientation Webinar. I'm so happy that you were able to join us today. My name is Allison Mackey, and I'm an academic advisor in the Office of Adult Students and Evening Services. We have 3 other advisors in our team as well, working with adult students, and they're available to assist you as well this semester. All of us are very passionate about working with adult, non-traditional, and veteran students, so I encourage you to reach out to any of us if you ever have any questions. During our webinar today, we're going to cover tips for a smooth transition into UNC Charlotte. We'll talk a little bit about how OASES serves students like you guys. We'll go over some common transition challenges that adult students face. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the new technology that you'll be using as a UNC Charlotte. And finally, we'll go over some of the resources that you might find helpful too. So I want to tell you guys about our plans for the spring. Our spring semester will start on Wednesday, January 20th, which is a little bit later than usual, but it's going to allow us to take the necessary precautions for health and safety before students return. And in terms of how classes are going to be delivered this spring, it's going to be a mix of instructional methods, including online, hybrid, and seated classes. Online classes may be delivered synchronously, which means that you will have a specific day and time that you're going to meet with your class, probably via Zoom or WebEx. Or your online classes can be delivered asynchronously, which means you will have no designated time to meet with your class, and instead you'll log on to your Canvas course and your teacher will upload your assignments there. We are in a time where things can change very rapidly, so make sure you stay informed of the official UNC Charlotte updates by checking our Niner notifications and our Niner alerts. And Megan's going to put that URL for the Niner notifications in the chat box for you so that you can bookmark that. It's a really good place to make sure that you have all the up-to-date official information from UNC Charlotte about what's going on. Okay, so let's talk about some of the items that should be at the very top of your to-do list. Number 1 is make sure that you are checking your UNC Charlotte email regularly. As an incoming student, you're going to be receiving important and potentially time-sensitive information through your UNC Charlotte Gmail account, and staying on top of that will be very important for you. Next, if you have not already signed up for SOAR, you need to do that ASAP. SOAR stands for Student Orientation, Advising, and Registration. It's 100% virtual this year. During SOAR, you're going to be getting lots of information from various departments on campus and have an opportunity to meet with your specific college or major department. It's also important to know that you can't register for classes until you attend SOAR. So if you have not signed up for that, make sure that you do so as soon as possible. Next, UNC Charlotte does require you to provide immunization records. You can review the requirements and the submission process for that at studenthealth.uncc.edu. Megan's going to put that URL in the chat box for you as well so that you can bookmark that. And before the semester starts, you're going to want to connect with any office that you need for specific services, such as the Office of Disabilities, the Veteran Services Office, or financial aid. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the OASES office and how we serve students just like you guys. Just so you know, there are approximately 4,000 adult students on our campus, so you should know that you are not alone. Our advisors are available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. And on Mondays and Wednesdays, we do have extended hours until 6 p.m. for those of you who aren't able to make it during normal business hours for some reason. You're always welcome to call or email our office anytime. If you do have a question or concern that you believe would benefit from an appointment, we can certainly do that as well. All of our appointments are virtual right now, and we can schedule a phone meeting with you or a virtual meeting with you through Zoom, WebEx, or Google Meet, whatever you prefer. And if you have an assigned advisor in the OASES office, we encourage you to make an appointment through the Connect system. That way you can see your advisor's availability and choose a day and time that works for you. I'll show you how to access the Connect system in just a few minutes. The main service that OASES provides to adult students is academic advising, and this can include major advising, maybe some career exploration, or identifying campus resources that are going to be helpful for you in terms of being successful this semester. We understand that some of you may be juggling family or work obligations, and some of you I know are transitioning out of the military right now, and we'll be happy to talk to you about all the challenges that come along with those sorts of things. Many of our students are veterans who are using education benefits, and I know that we have some veterans here today. We work very closely with the Veteran Services Office, and we understand that there are nuances in your education benefits, and we understand how that affects your academic plan. We work very closely with their office to make sure that we're always considering how your education benefits impact your future and your classes at UNC Charlotte. Another very significant part of what our office does is provide scholarship opportunities for you. We work very closely with local donors and are very proud to have awarded over $115,000 to the adult student population last year. There's more information about scholarships on the OASES webpage, as well as the university website as well. Megan's getting ready to put those URLs in the chat box for you right now too. It's important that if you do plan to apply for scholarships, and we encourage all of you to do so, make sure that you go to the scholarship website and create your own profile. When you create that profile, you want to make sure that you're indicating that you're a non-traditional student. Once you indicate that you're a non-traditional student, then you're going to be able to be matched with as many OASES scholarships that you qualify for, but you do need to make sure that you check that you're a non-traditional student. If you have questions about scholarships, we're certainly able to talk you through how to apply and talk you through the application portal as well if you do have questions about that. You can stay up to date about the news that's relevant to you as an adult student through our monthly newsletter. We also have a discussion board that's called the Adult Student Connection, where you can post questions or get feedback from other students. For example, if you're looking for a recommendation on the best study spots on campus, or you want to sell a textbook, the Adult Student Connection would be a great place to do that. As a new student, you're going to be receiving an invitation to join the discussion board very soon, so look in your email for that. Part of OASES's mission is to help you guys connect in a social capacity. And we know that as a non-traditional student, this may not be on the top of your list, but we find that when our students do make those connections, they really start to feel a sense of community that can actually translate into more academic success. Our events have looked a little bit different this year since we've moved to a virtual setting, but they're still a great way to connect. At the beginning of the spring semester, we will be hosting a virtual meet and greet, which is a great kickoff for new students. We tried it in the fall and we got really, really positive feedback, so we're going to do that again. We also host various virtual workshops like Scholarship 101 or special events for groups like parents who just want to meet each other and share tips on how to survive being a student and a parent. Our office has also designed a special class just for adult, non-traditional, and veteran students, and it's called UCall 1010 College Transition for Adult Transfer Students. This class focuses on things that are relevant to you, like academic planning, to help you understand your path to a degree. We talk a lot about career exploration to assist you in identifying jobs that fit both your interest and your choice of your major, as well as an introduction to campus resources. Most importantly, this is a writing intensive class, and that means that it meets one of your general education requirements instead of just being an elective. And yes, that does mean that you'll be writing in this class. Our goal is to help you get up to speed on academic writing, which can be really helpful if you've been out of school for a while. We'll not be offering this class in the spring, but if you feel like this class is a good fit for you, you can certainly talk to your advisor about the possibility of taking it next fall. It's available to students in their first year, so make sure that you reach out to a UCall advisor if you think this is a class that you would benefit from. All right, so I know that for some of you, the idea of coming back to college is a little intimidating, especially if you've been out of school for a while. And we work with students of all ages who have been away from school for various periods of time. So whether you've been out of school for 2 years or 20 years, we're going to talk about some of those transition challenges and how we might be able to help you. Returning to college is a big decision, and it not only affects you, but it affects everybody around you too. Time management is one of the major challenges for our adult students. It might be difficult to make college a priority if you have a family or are working, but you can balance it all if you have some planning and you practice. A few things that you might want to consider, the number of classes that you take your first semester. Remember that each class comes with its own time commitment. So make sure that when you're thinking about your class schedule, you're not just thinking about the day and time that you have to show up for class, but all the commitment that you have to make outside of that class to do your homework. Your homework may take a little bit more time this semester while you're learning how to be a student again. Get organized. Don't wait until classes start to begin thinking about how you're going to manage your daily routine. Find a calendar and an organization system that works for you and stick with it. I cannot impress on you enough how important it is to think about how you're going to be managing your daily routine and your weekly routine so that you have plenty of time to complete your schoolwork. If you have seated classes, make sure that you take into consideration the commute time and the time that it takes to park your car. There are a lot of little things when you're thinking about time management that you may not think about before you start school. If you have online classes, make sure that you set up a workplace before the start of the semester as well. One of our goals in this webinar is to give you guys a reality check. And we've compiled some of the most common stumbling blocks or misconceptions about being at UNC Charlotte. You guys are getting ready to register for classes during the SOAR session. It's important that you know up front that there are no guarantees on getting classes at the days and times that you want. For example, if you've decided that you can only take classes from 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you may be disappointed when you get to SOAR. Remember that you're competing with other students who have priority registration as a continuing student. But it will get easier each semester. So the best thing to do is to go into registration knowing that you have to be flexible and that things will work out. UNC Charlotte can be a great place to get your family and friends involved with things like festivals, art shows, theater performances. We even have a movie theater that you can bring your family to. And although those things are currently on pause, eventually they will be available to you once we get back to normal operating procedures. And I encourage you to get your family involved once we feel that normality come back into place on our campus. That being said, it's important to know that the classroom is not designated for your family. That's a place just for students. Unfortunately, children and other families are not allowed in classrooms, so you need to know that up front as well. One of the most common concerns that we talk about with our adult students is about balancing family and work obligations and how that affects your attendance in class. Make sure at the beginning of each semester you understand how many absences are allowed in each of your classes. That doesn't mean that professors are necessarily not going to understand if you're sick or if life happens, but it will mean that the absences could affect your grades. So make sure that you know upfront what the absence policy is in each of your classes. You should think of your syllabus for each of your classes as the contract with your instructor. Make sure that you read it carefully. You will have a syllabus for each of your classes. You'll also want to make sure that you understand things like the last day that you can drop a class or add a class, and the withdrawal deadlines as well. If you do need to withdraw from a class for some reason, that's okay, but you need to understand that there may be financial implications for that. There is an academic calendar that the UNC Charlotte posts online that gives all of the important dates that you need to know, and that's one that you definitely need to bookmark. As you know, many of our classes that have traditionally been offered in the classroom have now moved online. If you haven't ever taken an online class before, there are some important differences that you need to make preparation for before the semester starts. First, make sure you have a dedicated workspace that's quiet and secluded from other things in your house, if possible. This is something that you'll want to think about when you're registering for classes. So if you know that each day you're gonna need to be helping your children with homework around 2:30, then try not to register for classes where you have to be online with your classmates at 2:30. That's one of the things that you'll need to consider when you're working from your house is what else is going on at your house during the times that you need to be on camera for your class. When you're in your online classroom, make sure that you remove the distractions. Any distraction is going to impede your ability to learn. The number one distraction that I see when I'm teaching is your cell phone. Go ahead and turn your ringer off and put it out of your reach during your class. The same goes for checking your email during class or looking at social media sites. Just turn those things off and avoid it during your class time. And if you find yourself having a hard time focusing in an online setting, and I know that some students do, try to think of things that will help you focus, such as taking notes. And finally, make sure that you're taking responsibility for assignment due dates. Once classes start, you're going to have access to your course in Canvas, and some of your due dates for your first assignments may already be there. Go ahead and be proactive. Get your planner and put those things in your calendar. You can't wait for your teacher to tell you about due dates all the time. You need to take responsibility for that yourself. You'll be very glad that you did. Okay, I'd like to go over some of the technology that you'll be using at UNC Charlotte as a new student. I know that using new technology and some of these new sites can be a big challenge for adult and non-traditional students if you haven't been using this for a while. So I'll go over some of the most important things. First of all, please consider your student portal your home base. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to familiarize yourself with your student portal before you start the semester. This is where you can find information about financial aid. You can order your books from your student portal. It's also where you can access Connect, which is where you can make appointments with your advisor. You can also access the Student Help Center from here. You can register for classes from here and many other things. I do want to highlight one of the most important links on this page, which is Connect. Connect is how you're going to be making appointments with your advisor. It's also how you're going to make appointments for tutoring services here at UNC Charlotte as well. Once you click on the Connect link, you're going to have an opportunity to choose what kind of appointment you make, which is going to be advising or tutoring. And then you're going to be able to see a calendar that will allow you to choose a day and time for that service that works for you. The last thing I want to do today is encourage you to find the support that you need at UNC Charlotte. It's a big campus with thousands of students, and it's easy to feel lost in the crowd once you get here. I like to tell my students that UNC Charlotte is like a town of its own with lots to explore. As a student at UNC Charlotte, it's important to take advantage of all the things that we have to offer. Your student fee covers lots of things such as counseling and wellness services, career services, and tutoring services. At the Wellness and Counseling Center, we have individual and group counseling. Our Career Center offers amazing services such as preparation for interviews, help with resume and cover letters. And the UCAE, where we offer tutoring services, hosts lots of workshops and a ton of services that will allow you to catch up on classes or get any of the tutoring services that you might need. Once your classes start the semester, there's also plenty of academic support when you need it. I always tell my student, please don't wait till it's too late to seek out help. I just mentioned tutoring services. That's hosted by our University Center for Academic Excellence, or UCAE, and they provide free tutoring services for many different subjects on our campus. They also have both virtual drop-in hours, or you can schedule an individual tutoring appointment if you need to do that as well. We also have a speaking center on our campus that can help you brush up on public speaking skills, or if you're not comfortable giving a presentation in class that's coming up, they can help you with that too. Also, a very important resource for new students or continuing students is our Writing Resource Center, which can be a huge help when you're starting to write papers. If you're the kind of student who likes a quiet place to study on campus, then you should definitely check out the Atkins Library. It has 11 stories and is so much more than just a place to check out books. There's actually a family-friendly reading room that was, we helped get that from donors, very nice donation that we've gotten for our adult students and non-traditional students. And it's a place where you can take your children if you need a quiet place to study, but you have your children with you. You do need to make an appointment to use this room, but we certainly encourage you to use it. It's there for you. And as an added bonus, the Atkins Library also has a Pete's Coffee Shop. And finally, one of our most important academic resources is your academic advisor. Your advisor is the person who will help you understand your academic plan for your major, and they're the ones who are going to be giving you your course recommendations each semester before registration happens. Besides your advisor, there are also some academic tools that you could utilize yourself, and I highly recommend that you do so. One of the most important advising tools is DegreeWorks. You can access DegreeWorks through your student portal. DegreeWorks is the system that we use to audit your progress towards your degree, and it's also really helpful in terms of understanding how your credits have transferred in and also what classes you have to take. There's also a GPA calculator, and that can be used to help you determine how the grades you're getting will translate into your GPA. And of course, there's also our course catalog, and that's where you're going to find detailed information about the admission requirements to get into specific majors, as well as detailed course descriptions. These are a bunch of links that we're going to provide to you in a PDF later. After we leave the webinar today, I'm going to send you a PDF version of this PowerPoint so that you guys can use all these links. And I also want to give you our contact information. Now, we've done a ton of talking, and I'm sure there are lots of questions out there. I'm sure Megan's been answering some in the chat box as well. And I'm going to open it up for questions in just a second, but please make sure that you take down our contact information, and I'll also be sending it to you as well.